What is going on, guys? We are back playing some more Surviving with Thermal expansion. And today, guys, we're going to be messing around with the Phytogenic Insulator, which is a block that will allow us to farm basically anything we want. Now, it does sound really awesome, and it really is, but there are a couple downsides to it in that it requires a fair bit of stuff to be put into it to actually function. It needs power, it needs water, and then most of all, it needs fertilizer, which can get really expensive. That is the Phytogro and Rich Phytogro that we've talked about before. The recipes are right here. So you've got the Phytogro, which requires slag, and then the rich one requires rich slag. And if you want even the best kind, the Fluxed Phytogro, it's going to require that you take the Rich Phytogro and put energy into it. So it can get pretty expensive, but it allows you to have a very compact farm that can get really efficient and can have upgrades put onto it to function in pretty much whatever way you want. So we're going to set up the basics of this today, and then eventually we're going to be using it later on to automate a lot of different setups, including the production of Phytogro. But there is a lot of stuff that we need to do today to actually get to a point where we can even craft the block. So the main reason that this episode is going to be a little bit longer is because if we look at the Phytogenic Insulator, you can see that the recipe requires a lumium gear. Now, this requires lumium ingots, and these require lumium blend to make, which requires energized glowstone bucket. So this is kind of the root problem with crafting this stuff today, because to get the energized glowstone bucket, we need the energized glowstone, which means we need a magma crucible. So we're gonna have to craft that, which requires nether brick, and then on top of that we need to get the glowstone to actually make into the energized glowstone, and then we need to make a transposer to actually put it into a bucket for us. So a lot of different kind of miscellaneous things that we need to take care of today. And it looks like there's a skeleton hanging out over there, but these will be useful in the long run. We're going to need them eventually, so we might as well just craft them now. So as you can see, we've got a lot of stuff in here. It's going to get a little bit expensive today, a lot of Invar, but it will be worth it eventually because, like I said, we're going to use all of this stuff multiple times after this. It's not just going to be for doing this one setup. So the first thing that we need to do is grab some of this obsidian, have our flint and steel, and we need to go set up a portal to the nether. Now, I don't have good gear at all, so really I am banking on the fact that we're not going to have to fight anything when we get in there. And now that I think about it, we're going to need some blocks that we can easily dispose of, because we're going to need to be hopping all over the place trying to not get killed and actually get some glowstone. Glowstone shouldn't be the main issue. It's probably going to end up being the nether brick that we need to make the magma crucible, but we'll see. Oh my god. Oh, that was so painful. Okay, well, we're just gonna take a short break here while we get this back. And there we go. Okay, so let's hope I don't screw up again. I'm actually going to put down some extra blocks just to be sure. Okay, there we go. Get out our flint and steel, and let's hop on in. So I am pretty excited to actually get this set up because I've seen it used in a couple series recently and it looks really awesome. So let's, oh, okay, looks like we got pretty lucky with that, and the ceiling is very high. What is the closest area for us to go to get this? Probably right over here. Probably should grab other stuff while I'm here, but I'm not going to. I'll just get what we need and get out. So we're going to need 2 of these bricks, and then we need to get some glowstone. Oh my gosh, I thought they were mad at me for a second. Whew, okay. I'm just paranoid because I've got literally nothing. Like, I have some armor on right now, but it's just stuff that I got from killing random zombies and skeletons at night. So, really not looking to die again. Let's hop down here and grab this glowstone. Should be right up here. Yep. So that right there should be more than enough. We only need 1 recipe using the bucket of energized glowstone, but I'm just going to get as much of it as I can for the time being in case we need it for anything else relatively soon. Don't really feel like coming back in here. Nether is not my favorite place to be. Okay. And we should be good to leave now. Let's just get out of here before anything bad happens. Also, finally back at school. That's why the videos have slowed down a little bit. If you did not watch to the end of my last episode, I said that I was getting back to school, and for about the first week it would be a little awkward. I needed to figure out my roommates' schedules as to when I could record without them being here. As much as it would be, ideal for me to live in a single, I actually have 2 roommates, so it makes recording a little bit difficult. But I think I figured out times that I can record, so we should have no issue with that now. And wow, that is super loud. Okay, so now that we've got that, we should be pretty good to go and just grab all of this stuff out here and start crafting away. We'll have to obviously go in order. Ooh, are we going to have space for all this? We will. Okay, awesome. Crafting extravaganza time. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to make is the magma crucible. So we got the redstone conductance coil, and obviously we're going to need more of these in the future. Going to need a lot of machine frames and whatnot, but I'm just going to go one at a time right now, just to make sure I don't go over on anything, because I am getting kind of low on resources. I should probably go and do a little bit more mining. Oh my gosh, the inventory is too full, so we can't pull this stuff out. You know what? Let us get rid of this cobble for now. So give me all this stuff back. We will need to ditch the cobble in here. It's the only thing really worthless in our inventory right now. Okay, so give me the machine frame and make the redstone reception coil. And there we go. So now we've got the magma crucible. We're running out of space over here on where we can put down machines. So I actually think we're going to grab out the flux ducts and run them a little bit further back here, just so that we have a little bit more room to work with in terms of powering stuff. And I think we're actually going to put it right down here. Something else I guess I can talk about now is a lot of people have asked for me to actually do some building during this series, and I am completely okay with that. I do want to make a base, and I think I'll probably do that. I don't want to say next episode, because I don't actually want to treat it like a full episode, but I may do that sort of as like a 0.5 episode. Also, I'm going to get rid of all of these sides except this one, because we're going to need to put it in the fluid transposer, I think it is. Yep. So we're going to need to make more Invar gears for that. But yeah, I want to do sort of like a 0.5 episode, one that doesn't really count as a full one, but we do a little bit of building in it so that we've got sort of a base to work with. Nothing too fancy, just something so that we're not standing outside and constantly afraid of dying. And because I guess, you know, some people like seeing me build. I don't think I'm a great builder, I always say that, but for some reason people like watching me build. So what we need to do now is set this on blue with the energized glowstone. Every other side, oh right, there was a way you shift right click, that's what it was. We'll put a bucket in there because we want to get that filled. Yeah, so it's on fill. And I guess once this goes, should be 2 more times. Yeah, so 1 more time now, we'll have that bucket and we can start crafting the rest of it. So the next thing that we need to do is, I'm trying to think because we actually have a lot of stuff. If we're going to make the phytogenic insulator, we might as well just craft all of this stuff right now. So we'll get our copper gears out. We will get our machine frame out. And, nope, that's the magma crucible. Get the machine frame out for us. And it should be, okay, so we need the reception coil. And then the last thing is just going to require us to have this bucket so this thing is full. I love how it flips upside down. I always find that really funny because glowstone's always on the ceiling. But we can, where is it? I guess I'm not really going to find the blend. I might as well just go back in here, there, and there. So we've got the 4, flip the bucket back over, and then this blend, what was it? It has to get cooked down in the induction smelter with sand. So we should have some sand in here. Grab that out. Actually, the induction smelter should already have sand in there, yeah. So we don't even need to worry about that. Cook it down really fast. And there we go. So we should be good to finish off crafting this. Oh, that is electrum. That is not what we want. Crafting this, and I think it's iron that goes in the center. Yep, there we go. And now we can make the phytogenic insulator. So we've got the block, and it's becoming nighttime, so we probably want to sleep. But now we need to worry about getting everything into the block, and then eventually we need to make the fertilizer to go along with it and add the upgrades to it. So I think the best place to put this if we're trying to get water into it will be somewhere over here, because it's going to need power and water. So we should have no issue pulling power over a little bit. I think we'll probably put it, let's put it like right here. So we can easily pull the power over, bring the water over, and we should have no problem at all. So we'll get the fluiduct, and we can pull that right like this. I know it's not the cleanest setup in the world. Hopefully, we don't want this hooked up here. Only want it hooked up down there, and is it going to be able to pull water? So it's auto output, and then I guess, yeah, this probably needs to be set to the correct face. So there we go. We got the water going in there on that face. Let's remove all the others for now. We're not going to automate the input right now of fertilizer. That is a long way down the road. So the next thing we're going to need to do is make some of the upgrades for this. So we're going to make a hardened upgrade kit, which is going to require another bronze gear. So we will get that going. And then we're going to make a reinforced upgrade kit, which is what the Electrum was for. So we need our silver gear, and that's going to require the hardened glass, so it gets a little bit more expensive. So we got these two. We can go slap them on there, and we'll have 2 upgrade slots to use. And we're going to use those both for the same upgrade, nothing fancy. So we'll use that, and we might as well hook up the power right now. So we'll go like this. So now this has everything it needs but the fertilizer, and it's got 2 available augments that can be put onto it. Now there are a lot of augments that can work with this. You can use the nullification chamber, the auxiliary reception coil, the auxiliary sieve, and then there are a couple other fancier ones. Ones that we're going to use later on when we're farming trees will be the sapling infuser augment and the monoculture cycle. This one allows you to farm saplings in there, and this one allows you to not have to place in the thing you're farming, the non-fertilizer reagent that you're using. So in this case it would be saplings. It makes it a lot easier so you don't have to pump back whatever saplings you're getting out back into it. But right now what we're going to use, since I don't actually have the stuff needed for this, it gets really expensive, we are going to use the nutrient recovery augment, which is going to require some rich Phytogrow, which shouldn't really be that much of an issue. 1 recipe of it will craft us 16, but this is going to give us a 20% chance per augment, and you can put up to 4 in there, to not consume the fertilizer. So it's nice to use. Unfortunately, we're not going to have a ton of space for it later because we're going to need the sapling infuser and monoculture cycle. But if you've got the room, you might as well use it. It requires more energy per cycle, but again, it gets really expensive to make the Phytogrow, so it does, in my opinion, seem worth it. If you've got the power laying around, you might as well. So I think what we need to do now is actually make the Phytogrow recipe, which is not super annoying. We have the rich slag, and the pulverized charcoal should be no issue. We can just hop back here, throw the charcoal in here, and pull the sand out, and then we can just let it refill up and dump the rest of this stuff in here. That's what I've always been doing. That's why there's such a big collection of just random junk in here. Okay, so we got the charcoal, and we can get out our rich slag. I think we only have like 10 in there right now because I haven't been mining in a while, but I'll get more eventually. And the last thing is going to be niter. So we're going to need to grab out this 6 sandstone, and I forget what we need to put it in to get this. So this one also goes in the pulverizer, and it's got a secondary output chance of being niter. So might as well replace this now while I can. I guess I didn't actually have to grab the sand out of there, unfortunately. But this shouldn't mess up our system too much. So we'll just let that run, and we'll see if the secondary output goes over there at all. 40% chance, so I assume that 6 will be enough. If not, I can always craft more. There we go, we got 1. And I'll just dump the rest of this junk in here again. So we should be good to craft the 16 Phytogrow, or rich Phytogrow. So there we go, we have 16. And now we can craft the recipes for these at least. They're going to require 2 each. So we got to make the redstone servo, get 2 of those. And the silver gear, 2 of those. And thankfully we are using up whatever is left in our inventory, which means these are the last crafts for today. So we can come over here and dump both augments in there. So right now we have a 40% chance to not consume any fertilizer, which in my opinion is a pretty solid chance. I mean, if you're putting that in there and almost half the time you're not using it, that's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of resources, especially early game. If you're playing in a pack that needs this to actually function to get food, and you really don't have a ton of resources to spare, these can be pretty useful, considering you only really need to invest 2 of the Phytogrow, and then after you run it maybe like 10 times, you'll have got that back already in value. But if we throw that in there, the only other thing that we need to throw in is some sort of food product. So I don't actually know if I even have one. We've got seeds, so I can throw those in as an example. I cannot farm trees until I have that other upgrade in there, the sapling one. But if we look, we should be able to see the recipes in here. You can farm things that are kind of useless, like lilacs and whatnot, flowers, all that stuff. Mushrooms are actually really nice because you don't always want to spend the time going in to farm those. If you've got the sapling infuser, you can do all of these. As you can see, you're always going to get back saplings, and you get back, if you're using at least rich Phytogrow, a fair bit of wood, so you don't need to have it run that much. But if we look over here, we should be able to see the food. So if you do melon seeds, you can get 3 melons. if you're using Rich Phytogrow. If you're only using Phytogrow, you only get 1. So it does pay to use the Rich Slag instead of regular Slag if you can afford it. But what we might as well do now is throw in some seeds and see how it functions. It's really, really fast, honestly. And you can see we get out 6 wheat, and it did not consume a Rich Phytogrow, which is great because that is a perfect example of how good it is. So right now, we are 1 for 1. We have infinite value right now. So we might as well leave it at that. Don't want to go one more time and just ruin it. So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. I think that's going to be it for today, guys. I know it wasn't a ton of setting stuff up. There was a lot of stuff that needed to be taken care of before we could actually get into the fun part. But eventually I will use this to automate the production of Phytogrow because I do plan on using either if you use the charcoal or the sawdust. Either one, you're going to need either charcoal coming in, which means you're going to need wood coming in, or you're going to need wood coming in to make sawdust. So this will allow us to farm whatever wood we need and automatically get that. And that should kind of pretty much lead, that's like the last part that we really need at this point to automate the production of Phytogrow. And then we'll just pump some back in here and we should be all good to go. But that is going to be for another day, guys. I unfortunately have to get to class right now. I got 4 hours of it in front of me. Anthropology, and then it's followed by process kinetics and heat and mass transfer. Not going to be a fun day for me, but hopefully you guys will at least have fun watching this video, and I guess I will talk to you guys later.
Standing in a glass bowl at the end of a black hole, cold, lost and upside down. Faces swirling past me, all my memories rolling vastly.